All right, guys, we're back. MMA Weekly. We're going to do a weekly fight breakdown for you fans. This is a newer show. I got my good friend, PJ Overt in the house.
What's up, guys? Very excited to be part of this new podcast. We're breaking down the fights, doing all that with MMA Weekly. They approached me with this idea. I said, this is fantastic. If you don't know who I am, professional Call of Duty player, professional fighter, technically, you know, in the influencer boxing world, and jiu-jitsu black belt. So I have some knowledge on this, and I appreciate you guys having me be a part of this.
Well, we appreciate you coming. Quick story off topic. I think it pertains to how we met, which I think, because it's fight-related, is pretty funny, too. Las Vegas, everybody's trying to become somebody. It's L.A. in the 70s, so I'm still trying to become somebody. So I was going out to the Las Vegas Strip, and it was a very, very, very busy Saturday, I believe, and I see this beautiful gentleman with a beard on him come walking by, and I was like, this guy looks like somebody, and he was, and that's about a year later, here we are sitting down hosting a show together. So
were you interviewing people about fights then as well?
Yeah. Every week I would go out,
and I walked by and I just looked like a guy with a beard. You're like, this guy looks like a man who would watch fighting.
Yeah,
and here we are. You never know what could happen.
You were a white guy.
Yeah, with a beard and a hat.
You fit the description.
A jiu-jitsu shirt on, probably.
Definitely.
Right.
Definitely. Yeah, I would go out every week and do what we're going to do now and break down some fights and just ask people, you know, walking on the strip, you know.
This is perfect. And I think in the future we are going to include some in real life street interviews. We have to for the podcast, little bits and pieces. I love that idea.
Yeah, there's just an energy about the Las Vegas Strip. I mean, you're born and raised.
Yeah.
You probably don't get that same feeling
that
a lot of us do. You do.
That's why I was on the Strip when I saw you. Brother, I live on the Strip.
Yeah, there's not a lot of locals cruising down the Strip on a random Saturday by themselves.
Yeah.
You were alone, too.
All the good ones do, though.
Yeah.
All the good locals go to the Strip. Get in touch with the roots.
Vegas, I've only been here a little over a year. And up until I was like 37, I had never even came to Vegas. But it always had this mystique, you know, kind of gives you this oh shit moment when you get here.
It's why it's one of the most popular cities on the planet, you know?
And that's why the UFC is here.
Exactly.
Because it gives you those oh shit moments. That I've been hearing that a lot. Dana's been talking about, we sell oh shit moments, which not many other sports duplicate the way that the fight game does.
Yeah, he breaks it down. Obviously, everybody who watches MMA knows this. But yeah, UFC specifically is one of the few things that you cannot know anything about. And he says this all the time, Dana White does, right? You can know nothing about the sport, but you know when somebody gets knocked out or choked unconscious or whatever, you're like, oh my God, oh man. Like, and we all have a visceral reaction to that. It's not as visceral when you see like, oh, this dude put a ball in a net. Like, it's sick, but you got to understand the complexities of those games. This is something that we all as humans can watch and be excited by.
I mean, since the beginning of time, fighting has been not just a ritual, but like the only entertainment at one point. The gladiators and it's got its own language. You could be white, brown, black, gay, straight, an alien, and everybody likes watching someone get punched in the face.
100%.
That's what we're gonna do today, guys. So we got some notes. Don't mind me on my phone. We're gonna break down what's been going on in the fight game lately and kind of keep up to date. That's the whole goal of this. We're going to try to do it weekly for you fight fans. But a lot of you guys are, you're not casuals. You guys are really into the fight game. That's why you follow MMA Weekly. And I'm excited to talk about the Sphere because it's coming up. And there's been some, I won't say friction, but things aren't going as smooth, I believe, as we once thought they were going to be. In certain areas. I think overall, the Sphere is going to be the greatest event we've ever seen when it comes to production, but I wanted to ask your opinion, being a Vegas local, a fight promoter. You fought in front of 20, 30,000 people in different countries. What it takes to sell out, because they're having some issues. I think they're only 40% sold right now.
With the Sphere for the Sean O'Malley, that whole card?
Yeah.
Or just the Sphere with that fight card?
That specific fight being one of a kind, I think they priced out their viewers, but you're the promoter.
So, I mean, in my personal opinion, you're just asking me about this. I'm just hearing about this for the first time. My personal opinion, when a lot of people, I think the casual audience, when they look at the Sphere, right, they're seeing like a big, almost like a show of sorts, the outside of it. I honestly, even me, I live here. I didn't know for a while that they were going to, the shows inside of it. I haven't even been to one yet. It's such a new thing, and I think that for this specifically, if they come down in price, you're going to get more people to be to hear about it, obviously, and to put them in there. I think that that's the smartest move to do because it's going to take, I believe, a few events before people really realize. Because right now, you think of fighting, you think of what? maybe MGM, maybe T-Mobile Arena. I'm not thinking of the Sphere for fighting events right now. And even though it's massive for the UFC, and I think that it's going to be great eventually, I think right now it's still so new. You got to get people used to the taste. You got to dip the toes in the water. You can't price yourself out right away. So I believe that with the tickets coming down, you're going to reach more people, right? And it's just going to take a couple of events, especially this one. For sure, this event's going to like blow the socks off of people because it's going to be a fantastic UFC event. And you got Sean O'Malley, all those guys fighting on it. And as soon as this happens, I think the next one, it's going to be easy. There's going to be no reason why it's not going to be packed out.
Yeah.
This is my opinion.
Well, Dana,
person.
I don't know if you've heard, he said this is a one and done.
Oh, it's one and done?
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way it's going to be one and done.
Yeah, Dana White is adamant that this is, and I'll be a contender tomorrow. Dana, I'll ask you. Maybe behind the scenes, he'll say, no, we're going to do more moving forward. We got to make it seem this big and like it's only one, so we sell out. But
it's promotion.
Yeah, but Dana usually says what's on his mind. He doesn't really bullshit much.
Listen, I don't want to say anything about Dana White because I love him, but
he is a promoter.
But he is a promoter, you know? And to be honest with you, he's going to say, and people who are promoters, hypothetically, not even Dana White, for example, but promoters in general, not Dana, hypothetically would say, it's the biggest thing ever, one and done, here we go. And then it gets extremely massive, it blows up. Obviously, it's going to be a huge event. And then from there, it's like, well, maybe one more, you know? I think I could see it being a continuous thing, obviously, maybe for a couple of years, like the major fights. Because Connor's going to come back. Where's he going to fight? Is he going to fight in Vegas at the Sphere? Probably, right? I would assume that. But that's just like my idea.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, besides the Sphere, Connor, is he going to sell out Raider Stadium? That's probably the only thing that would beat, I believe, the Sphere, like the magnitude of the fight. But who knows what it's going to look like. Again, I haven't been in there myself. I think being locals, I never even go to, well, you do. I don't go to the Strip too much. I'm excited to see how it's going to play out, but I do think they might have priced some people out. It could be the game. Maybe that's just me not knowing the promotion business, but I've been following this game almost 30 years. Most of the people watching this are like good old boy blue collar guys back home. They want to hang out with their buddies in a barbecue, drink a couple beers. They don't have the money to not just buy a $3,000-$4,000 ticket, but fly, get the rooms. So maybe it was a good strategy, you know, for marketing, because as of now, they're down like 75%.
Yeah, I think that most of the guys, like you said, are working class guys that want to watch the UFC fights. And like you said, a lot of people don't have the money to fly to Vegas, do this, get these massive tickets. So many of my friends, even that I just known throughout my life, Vegas is really a once every few years trip. And for something like this, they'd have to be massive UFC fans and have that extra disposable income to fly out here and spend all that money. So I think it's actually great that if they're dropping the prices a little bit to help include the working class guys much more so. I think that is a great play.
I got a question for you about Sean O'Malley, all right?
Yes.
Everybody knows Sugar Sean O'Malley. Right now,
the guy...
the red hair.
Pink hair?
I know he's bald.
Cotton candy. Bald guy.
Bald guy.
Yes, I know him.
Russian.
Yeah, Russian guy with the beard.
Yeah, he just...
Oh, perfect.
He only takes people down.
Yeah, he's fighting the YouTuber or something soon, right?
Yeah, KSI.
Yeah, there we go.
He's fighting KSI.
Perfect.
Chael Sonnen just came out publicly and spoke on Sean O'Malley because that's what Uncle Chael does. Shout out to Chael, but every day he's good at what he does, consistently talking about the fight game. He thinks that Sugar Sean is the biggest, you know, guy in the roster right now. I believe that. I was trying to see, because originally when the Chandler and the Conor McGregor fight fell out, I assumed, without a doubt, 100%, they were going to take the main event slot for the Sphere. Mm-hmm. And then, obviously, now it's not. It's Merab versus Sugar Sean. But what do you think of that fight being a jiu-jitsu black belt? We were just with Aljamain Sterling, who just fought Sugar, lost the belt, but he's also going to be cornering Merab at Celebrity Poker. Shout out to Celebrity Poker Tour. I'm back and forth with this fight. I think it's a horrible fight for both men. A striker and a grappler. It's you know what I mean? Like it's either one guy's going to do tremendous or one guy's going to do horrible.
So I do want to touch on Sugar Sean being the biggest guy on the roster right now. So to me, there's a few different versions of the biggest guy on the roster, right? I think that we could all, obviously Conor McGregor, but he's kind of like this weird, like in this weird legendary space where he shows up once in a while like a rare Pokemon, you know? And then we got John Jones, obviously another guy who's kind of in that same space to me as McGregor, more active, obviously, but another one that like he appears every once in a while and causes destruction, then disappears, you know? Yeah. Alex Pereira, obviously Jake Paul called him out. I think that he's another massive name amongst hardcores. Amongst casuals, not so much. And that's where Sugar Sean, I believe, fits the bill for the biggest guy in the roster because he's not only, he kind of really plays to that younger demographic, obviously. And then he's also, to me, Sugar Sean is not just a UFC fighter. He's also a YouTuber, a TikTok shorts guy, Instagram reels, like all these little viral clips. And hanging out with the Nelk boys, all these YouTubers, the FaZe boys, all these guys. Sugar Sean has really, anybody who's under 30 or on social media at all definitely knows who Sugar Sean is. And I think that to me, makes him the biggest on the roster because of that. And that's my thoughts on the whole Sugar Sean being the biggest guy. I think there's different, different verticals. Verticals, is that a word maybe? I don't know.
Sounds great.
Right? Sounds good. For popularity, and Sugar Sean is the most popular in the young crowd, 100%.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got Nelk. He's got Happy Dad now. He's with Happy Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything you just said. Because a lot of the, Pejera, he's got a good team, but he's not out there doing TikToks. And
right. Even though his stuff goes viral, I think that people might see him and not know exactly who he is, where Sugar Sean makes it, very known. Because honestly, Alex Pejera is, his whole thing is
yeah, Stone.
There's no way to know who he is. Sugar Sean, you definitely know for a fact. He's like, yo, I'm Sugar Sean. I'm drinking a Happy Dad with my boy Kyle. It's so different. But as far as the fight is concerned, I think, like you said, the grappler versus striker. Obviously, history has shown that the grappler typically wins. But Sugar Sean being the pinpoint accurate little sniper that he is, even the Aljo fight was crazy to me. I did not know if he was going to win that one. Then with Merab, I think Merab, though, speaking of popularity on social media, Merab's doing great with the fake Sugar Sean O'Malley guy and posting all the content. He posted all the content in front of the Sphere. He's in TikTok dances. You got to do that because, listen, it's the fight game for sure, but it's also prize fighting. Get the biggest prize. And in order to do that, you have to be the most known. And I think Merab's doing fantastic with his social media, production and stuff that he's doing. So who do I think wins? Are you asking me?
Well,
is that a thought?
If you were going to ask me about going to war and this army versus this, Navy SEALs, I would have more insight because I'm a war vet. You're a jiu-jitsu black belt. You've been in the fight game. You know all these guys personally.
Yeah.
Normally I would go with the grappler. I mean, look at how dominant Khabib was. And forget even Khabib. Merab himself has been, look what he did. He carried a 2-time Olympic gold medalist across the octagon while yelling at Dana White and Hunter Kane.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever done that to Henry Cejudo.
That was insane.
We're talking a gold medalist in wrestling got out-wrestled by Merab. Merab is just, and his gas tank is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he can go into the deepest of waters and still look like he's got 5 more rounds in him. So who knows? But then Aljo was the most winning bantamweight champion of all time. And, he, like he just said on another podcast 40 hours ago when I was with him, he looks back, and says, I rushed in a little bit. And then he got caught. And that happens. It's still, the human anatomy. We're not lions, but I don't know. Aljo's either going to get sniped or Merab's either going to get sniped by Sugar Sean.
Or he's going to get grinded out for 5 rounds.
Yeah.
The tale is all the time. And I feel like whenever I answer questions, I do the same thing where I'm like, I could give you an exact answer, but it's also tough when you know the guys and you're trying to be, I'm friends with them, but also I want to give an unbiased thing here. But that's exactly what it is. Either Sugar Sean's going to snipe him or Merab's going to grind him out. I don't see Merab winning with a KO or I don't see Sean winning with a, crazy upside down triangle thing. I don't see that happening. It's either a snipe from Sugar or a grind out session with Merab, in my opinion. Very, very nice, light, unbiased perspective on that.
Yeah, they're just completely polar opposites in every way possible. But there's an awesome fight coming up where they're very similar, I believe, because they're both strikers. Ilia Topuria is going to face off of Max Holloway.
Oh, my goodness. That's going to be crazy. I'm going to need Max to win this. I talked about being unbiased. Max Holloway, his son's big fans of my Fortnite career. Max Holloway, a Warzone team member of mine. Max, we need the victory. We need the victory in this one. This fight is so exciting, bro. I'm super excited for this. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say Max Holloway on this one.
Yeah. I just don't think we've seen enough of Ilya yet. Mm. Granted, he just beat the GOAT of featherweight, you would say, Volkanovski.
And he looks great, for the record. Looks great.
Tremendous.
Obviously amazing. Obviously amazing champion. amazing guy, looked tremendous. Max Holloway's been around a long time. He's fought the best of the best, and we haven't seen enough from Ilya, like you said.
I think before the Justin Gaethje-Max fight, Ilya had absolutely zero doubt that if he had to get in the octagon against Max, that he would win. But after all the hate and all the people saying Gaethje's too big, and then he knocked him out in spectacular fashion, I think everybody on the featherweight roster and 55ers are kind of going, oh, shit. Holloway's still Holloway because he's never been stopped.
Yeah.
Ever. I don't know. It's an exciting fight. I think it's just going to be... I think Max might pull it off because of his length and his fight IQ. He's been in there with everybody. And I don't see Ilya hitting harder than Dustin Poirier, who beat him for the interim but couldn't stop Max. I don't know, but it's going to be one hell of a fight.
I definitely think Max has been in there with everybody you could possibly think of. The fight IQ is insane. The experience is so much more that I definitely. But obviously, you got Ilya coming out with this. He's fresh off this victory. His confidence has never been higher for sure, right? You come off, you beat this insane champion. You're the champion now. His confidence is going to be crazy going into the fight. So, and Max knows that. So I'd imagine via experience and fight IQ, he'll take that into serious consideration and build a game plan around that even as well. Because it is tough when you fight somebody who really believes. The mental game is, I don't want to say it's 90%, the same basketball is fighting, but mental game is extremely important, for sure. If you believe that you're the best and you're getting in there and you're training with the best guys, you are the best in the world, right? Via the belt that says so, then you're going to go in there with an extreme level of Super Saiyan confidence and ability. That being said, Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje might be the greatest knockout of all time. Just saying.
I agree.
That was crazy. You know what? I was doing a watch party with Sugar Sean at Zook at the time when that happened. That was honestly insane moment for me. But pull the clip up of me and Sean reacting. But yeah, no, crazy times. I'm excited for that one. And then obviously, if I can move on to the Jon Jones versus Stipe fight.
Yeah.
That one's
it's in 2020,
5 years,
2029.
Yo, when is this coming? When is this happening? I think that Stipe has been around for so long. Obviously, arguably, he is one of the heavyweight goats for sure. But I think that this matchup is everything you say on video is forever, But I just don't. Don't make that look like that. I'm not going to say anything crazy. But I do think that this is just a few years too late, and I think Jon Jones, obviously being Jon Jones, is going to win the fight pretty handily. I honestly am already kind of counting it as a Jon Jones victory, and I want to see him fight Tom Aspinall or Alex Pereira. I think Alex Pereira versus Jon Jones would be probably the most massive fight that you can make as far as the internet is concerned and people and the casual audience or whatever. I think it would get the most amount of PPV sales, highest numbers as far as views are concerned. I want to see Jon Jones come back, beat Stipe, and then fight Pereira personally.
And I know you're very good with your words because we're on camera. But you know how that Jon Jones Pereira fight's going to go. If Jon Jones decides to stay standing, it's different.
Yeah.
But look what he did to Cyril Gahn. He just,
for sure.
And if other two, didn't Izzy take down Pereira? I'm pretty sure he did. He got him down twice.
Did he? Okay, yeah. For
Jon
sure.
Jones isn't going to stand with him.
You don't think so?
No, why would I?
You don't think that he would stand with him a little
I got
bit?
a gun on me right now. We could cut this out. You're a jiu-jitsu black belt. I'm 10 years old. I'm shooting you.
You would have to.
I'm not going to go in there and do let's go outside in the concrete and roll.
But here's the thing.
You think he's going to stand with Pereira?
But
You're
I
nuts.
don't think that you have the Jon Jones pride ego situation going on where he's like, oh yeah, he's going to outstrike me. I'm Jon Jones. Come here, spinning elbow. This man, I don't know. I think that Jon Jones would do. I think that he definitely, obviously, the best path to victory. He could wrestle him, right, grind him out. But I don't think that that's Jon Jones's. That's not what he wants from himself necessarily.
He didn't become.
Yeah,
who he is
for playing safe.
Yeah,
not at all.
He's definitely got an ego.
If he didn't, Jon Jones has an ego. Whoa, newsflash, guys! Drama alert! Jon Jones has an ego.
Well, we're getting older. He's my age, We start not being so. egotistical when you get older, you know? Like, so I don't think he'd go in there and try to
Do you think that
strike.
John Jones is less egotistical right now?
You know, I'm going to say, yeah, he's a dad.
Okay.
You know, I
I
think
just saw him 3 months ago. All right, his ego comes in the room 7 minutes before he does. It's insane. Okay.
I'm trying to stick up for him over here. All right, yeah. Let's keep John Jones out of Vegas.
John Jones. Oh yeah, keep him out of Vegas for sure.
Man.
But also,
I do agree though. I'm sorry to cut you off. That would be on paper
the
biggest pay-per-view sales they've probably ever done. I think it beats all of them. What is Khabib and McGregor to the biggest?
Okay, I don't think it beats McGregor, but I think that it's the thing that gets all the eyeballs because right now I think even the casual fan base, they all know McGregor. And a lot of people know John Jones, but I still think if I'm in touch with the boots on the ground, ear to the ground, right, I think that John Jones and Alex Pereira is the biggest you can make, but not as big as McGregor. Maybe Sean O'Malley, arguable, might even... I would say that as far as PPV is concerned, I think a Conor McGregor fight, Sean O'Malley, and then this John Jones, Alex Pereira. Because right now, Alex is blowing up, and John Jones really isn't known for socials right now, you know, as much like when he's but the fight clips would go crazy. I think that, you know, pay-per-view buys would be insane. The clips on the internet would be probably 1 billion views, you know, across the internet easily. And that's a fight that I personally want to see as a greedy, selfish internet guy. I want that one so I can see how massive it would be. Yeah. But obviously, the hardcores probably want Tom Aspinall versus Jones.
I think we would get John Jones versus Alex Pereira in Dana White's power slap before we got them in the UFC octagon.
Before we got Alex versus John Jones?
Yeah,
in the octagon.
I don't see that happening. But I think we'd see them. Who do you think? Hypothetically, power slap. Who do you got? Pereira or Jones?
Probably Pereira. Yeah. I think, but I do think that we get Alex versus John Jones in power slap before we get John Jones versus Tom Aspinall in the UFC.
Really?
Yeah, probably. I think that I don't know how that goes. Me personally, I would love to see the big money thing with Alex versus John Jones, and then John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. And that one is one that I would say I actually am not sure if John Jones handles a young up and coming crazy massive guy.
Yeah, he's big. Have you been around him?
I've never been around him. No. Is he big? Is he bigger than me?
I haven't been around him.
Oh, okay.
He's not bigger than you.
Oh no, there's no chance. Maybe if he ate more.
See, you have no ego.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm a humble guy. The most humble in the room, for sure.
I don't think we'll see it, but because John Jones is just, like he just said, like, I got more belts than you'll ever get. Like, I'm just going to...
Bro, ideal world, ideal scenario, storyline scenario. Look, this is just coming from me being a movie director and producer. The best for the movie, hypothetically, analogy here. John Jones beats Stipe, right? Heavyweight GOAT. John Jones beats Alex Pereira, becomes extremely viral right now. And then everybody's like, oh my goodness, this next fight, the older champion is going to fight this young, the new heavyweight GOAT. He beats him. John Jones rides off into the sunset.
No.
Doesn't hit anybody.
He beats...
Just keeps going into, you know, whatever, fairy tale ending.
Think about this, because you're the director.
Go ahead.
But I'm your producer. I got to help out a little bit.
Please.
Everything you just said, John Jones does all that, beats Aspinall, but he doesn't sail off into the sunset. Francis Ngannou comes back.
Dude, he beats Francis Ngannou. I love it. He comes
just
back.
Saying.
And John Jones is like in a bar somewhere with a cowboy hat, and somebody's like, yo, Johnny Bones, and he's like, I ain't heard that name in years.
25 years.
Yeah, he goes back, gets on the horse, goes back, beats Francis Ngannou. I think that, for sure, that'd be insane.
Why do you think there's no cross promotion when it comes to like the champions and certain? Is it because UFC is just way too big? It doesn't make any sense, or do you think the competition's really? Because you train with all these guys.
Yeah.
Do you think it's?
I think a couple things. All right, and I don't know which one's correct, but I do think that UFC is massive. I do think that, truthfully, Dana White likes to be the biggest guy in the room, obviously. But I also think, and maybe he's shutting them out because obviously, a healthy competition breeds better for almost everybody. But I do think that Dana White does this thing where he will, like the Jake Paul stuff. He's like, we're not talking about Jake Paul. He's not good. Blah, blah, blah. But that is also promotion in a way. You know what I mean? And Dana has to know that. So I do wonder how much of it is calculated moves where he's like, never bring up Jake Paul in my thing. And then somebody asks a Jake Paul question. He's like, Jake Paul, he sucks. Never bring him up again. It's like, that's also promotion. Those clips get the most views, right? When he gets upset about something. So, I don't know. Is he not promoting them? I'm not sure.
Everything's promotion.
Everything's promotion, right? So, that's kind of my thoughts on that. But I don't know which one's true, but it's all promotion.
Can we move on to a fight that I think has been in the works? I didn't think it was going to happen, but there's been some heat between these opponents for a while. Colby Covington, I just heard today, might face off with Dustin Poirier. And you know the backstory on them with ATT? There's been the beef.
I don't know too much of the backstory. I don't think I saw this and I was like, I can't remember what the backstory is. Can you give me the 15-second brief?
Yeah, 15 seconds. Colby Covington, right?
Uh-huh.
Used to be with ATT, American Top Team. Best friends are Jorge Masvidal. We all know how that went. Well, when Colby started telling everyone to kiss his ass, you know, Dustin was one of them, who is still close with Masvidal. So they had some stuff. Colby was, you know, Dustin said, "I'll never fight you in the cage. I'll just beat you up. I don't want you to make any money off of me," blah, blah, blah. This was like 3 years ago. So when I woke up and read that Colby was going to fight Dustin this morning, I was like, holy shit. Because that's a hell of a fight.
It's not so, for sure.
No, it's not 100%. All right? I think it'll happen, though. I mean, what else makes sense for Colby right now? He's not going to go fight for the belt for the 4th time. You know, who else is going to fight? I mean, him and Bilal. Bilal's not going to fight him. Everybody... We'll get to Bilal. He's a savage. But, yeah, I think just Dustin Poirier versus Colby is just a spectacular fight. I think Dustin wins, though. His striking's way too good.
You think that Dustin wins?
I do. If Colby shows up how he did against Leon last time, granted, they said he broke his foot in the first. And I'm a big Colby fan, but I just think Dustin's, and that'll be Dustin's last fight. He's going to go in there to take his head off.
Yeah, dude, I love Dustin Poirier, and I love Colby Covington. I think they're both exciting. Colby would have been the champion in another timeline. He's the champion right now, you know, which is cool. Dustin, obviously, extremely popular guy, right? Came out, got super popular off the McGregor fights. Super likable guy. Obviously, you know, a legend in UFC. But do I think that Colby takes him down and can grind it out for a while? He's got a good top game, you know, and I think that he's bigger by a bit. I don't, because I know he's small, welterweight, but he's still going to be bigger than Dustin. And a bigger wrestler than you is going to be tough to deal with, even if you got hands of stone.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that fight. If it does happen, we'll see. It's up to you guys, the fans. Start tagging Dana White in the UFC and Hunter and everybody.
Let them know. Let them know we want to see this fight.
All right. Michael Chandler. Shout out to Michael Chandler. It's my guy. He just put a hint out with a winky face. Something's coming. Do you think that fight, and granted, I know you guys are sick of hearing about Michael Chandler, Conor McGregor. Chandler, move on. You could have had 6 fights already, but
Yo, I mean, he honestly, literally could have had 6 fights by now. It's insane. I honestly feel I have a lot of I just feel for him. It's so crazy. He's been waiting on this Conor McGregor thing forever, and I think it would be massive, obviously. But how long has he been waiting on this? Has it been,
like
17 years? 17?
Yeah, about something like that.
Something like
He's aged dramatically.
Bro, I think I was graduating high school when this fight got announced. This is crazy, dude.
I do, honestly, and I'm a big Conor fan, but I think Chandler, I mean, while Conor's hanging out with you in Ireland drinking Irish Stout, Chandler's probably on Labor Day today while we're in here training right now, doing lunges. I just think that his cardio, his power, and his grit and his will to get to the top of the UFC heap, like, you know, I don't see him not beating Conor.
I wonder.
Or Conor comes in half drunk and starches him in 30 seconds.
That's the thing.
I don't know.
We all train differently. I'll kill a forged stout right now and go train jiu-jitsu, be insane at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we all train differently. But what if this is the long game? Because Chandler's obviously a beast. I do think that Conor wins the fight, personally, because I think that I think he does very well against like these wrestler guys. He has such good KO power. I think that he does very well against Chandler. Obviously, I think that he does win the fight. But maybe there's that. But Chandler, obviously a beast, very tough to deal with. It's not a for sure he wins the fight. I do think that Conor can win it, but it is more of a toss-up than I'm letting on. But what if this is a long game? Have you ever heard of Miyamoto Musashi?
Yeah.
So he fought a guy, Kojiro, I believe, and he was like the second best swordsman in the land. And he was supposed to show up and fight him like at noon or something. and this man made the guy wait until like 5:30. He showed up like 5 hours late on a boat, made the guy all distraught, and then beat him and then left. Maybe this is the Miyamoto Musashi version, Connor's version of that, where he's like, oh, we're going to fight in 3 months? Sick. 4 years later, he pulls up, Chandler's upset, comes in there, hits him with the old slice and dice and gets out of there. Maybe that's the overall plan. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, could you think about the anxiety that Chandler is going to have going into that?
Because it's been built up for so long.
I mean, when my wife calls me and is like, we need to talk, it doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah.
And 45 minutes go by until I get home. I can't barely breathe when I get in the fucking house.
For sure.
Imagine 4 years waiting for Conor McGregor.
We've all been through that. That's exactly what it is. It's a fight version of we need to talk. And then you're like, I don't get home till 9 p.m. Yep. This is insane.
But my wife's not going to punch me in the face. Well, she might. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that Conor's mind games. I mean, the one viral clip of them in the UFC Apex of him saying, "No, we're going to fight at 85." And he goes, "All right." And he goes, "I know it's all right. I own this game."
These are some big boss moves. That was crazy. All these clips are great. And at the end of the day, I know Chandler's your guy and stuff, so it raises everybody's star no matter what, you know. But that's a fight I'm definitely looking forward to, and I want to see. That's like whenever it happens, it's gonna be one of my favorite fights probably of all time, or at least of the year.
Well, you know what we could do, since we're sitting here doing a podcast for MMA Weekly,
yes.
we should get Chandler to come sit down and talk to us about it himself. Michael Chandler, next time you're in Las Vegas, come holler at me on MMA Weekly. And
don't beat me up. Don't beat me up. I'm just saying, I'm just speaking. This is all from an entertainment perspective, all right? Okay.
Hey, content's content, all right?
For the content, you know? Hey, it raises everybody's star, just like I said.
And then we'll go to Red Rock, and we'll lose $5,000 after.
Perfect.
So, speaking of grit, Michael Chandler's come forward and fought broken noses and bleeding everywhere. The powers to be of MMA Weekly, Scott, he's off camera, has a clip that he showed me while I was eating Rice Krispies this morning that made me want to throw up a little bit, of a BKFC fighter who, well... Trevor Bosniak.
Oh my goodness. That guy's... That's not good. That's not good. And
he stood back. It's definitely...
and he's walking away with a foot.
Look at this.
He set his... So if you didn't notice, his foot does a complete 360.
His foot tried to leave the ring.
Now look at this. Oh, I'm fine. He passed it.
Why? There's no way. This guy's the toughest. Tough guy of the week goes to this guy right here.
I hope he got a bonus for that, just for being a savage.
Wait, did the fight continue after this?
No, there's no way.
Please tell me that he gets up and continues to fight, and then he wins. Brian, he's walking around more.
He's trying to show the doctor, I'm good. It's only a leg.
Bro, this is the toughest guy I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, Dan Mergliotta, he waved the fight off.
He did wave the fight off? Okay.
Shout
They
out
should have let him fight. He was totally fine.
What's going to happen at this point? Like, nothing worse. You know?
It's already as bad as it could possibly be. Let the man fight.
I'm not going to be able to fucking fight for 3 more years. You might as well let me get a knockout bonus.
Bro, who is this guy? Get this man on the podcast today.
He just left the Ukraine war and showed up. Look at this guy. He is a scary man.
I've never seen that. Has anybody seen that happen where somebody breaks their ankle like that and stands up?
Not that bad. I mean, I've seen roll of an ankle, but his foot
was backwards. His foot was in the locker room, dude. His foot tried to get out. That's I don't know.
All right.
That was amazing.
Before we end this with this badass, we got one more badass that we need to talk about.
Okay.
Iron Mike Tyson is going to face off with Jake Paul. I didn't know if this was actually going to happen. Shout out to Mike Tyson. He's from Brooklyn. My whole family's from Brooklyn, so obviously I got to root for Mike Tyson. But I'm a huge Jake Paul fan, and thank you, Jake Paul. You made me smell amazing at Celebrity Poker Tour this weekend because I had W with me, the blue bottle.
Ooh, nice. The blue one's a good
My wife's pregnant again now.
Oh, look at that. You sprayed it on. And she's like, I got to tell you, I'm pregnant.
Yeah, so be careful with W from Jake Paul. You might have a baby.
What a great...
Yeah, she's pregnant twice.
That's a good ad for a W there. There you go, Jake. Please post that on W. Thank you.
And I'll send the pregnancy proof. She's definitely pregnant. Thanks, Jake. But Jake's going to face off. And I love what Jake's doing. I'm a big fan of both of those guys. I've been watching them forever. I'm a lot older than them, but I remember, seeing some of their content when I was overseas in Germany for all those years. And YouTube was first starting out. We're like, these kids are nuts.
YouTube was first starting.
Because I grew up on Jackass in the 2001, 99, So these guys were like the first generation to really blow up, I think, the Paul brothers. And then for him to transition
That's
into...
so crazy that you would say that. I've been making content since 2009. The disrespect on my name is crazy right now.
Well, you're the same. You and Jake Paul are about the same year, right?
I think that
Or you and Logan,
I'm 3 years older than Logan, yeah. 3 years older than Logan. But yeah, so I started making content in 2009, and to me, these guys were massive back then. But yeah, when the boys started blowing up, the brothers, is 2016. That was when everything first started crossover into mainstream, right? So
yeah, see, I'm mainstream. I was an army sergeant in Europe. Leading soldiers. I didn't know anything about anything.
10 years for the mainstream to catch up to what's going on, right? That's typically what people say. 10-year overnight success.
Took me till COVID.
Yeah, that's so crazy. But yeah, so I've known Jake and Logan forever. Like mainly Logan, I've known for a long time, since 2016 or whatever. When I was staying in LA a lot at the FaZe house out there, I would see Logan all the time. Always been a great guy to me. I've met Jake twice, maybe, but I met him when he was a lot younger. And so, obviously he's grown up a lot. Obviously he's doing amazing things. I can't actually say anything right now. I'm currently under NDA. So for everybody here, this is friend-DA now. You don't tell nobody. I just came back from Puerto Rico, which, I can't say what was happening out
you
there.
passed by on a cruise.
Yeah. I was just, me and my girlfriend were in Puerto Rico. It's like people live there. I don't know who, maybe... some brothers live there.
Puerto Ricans?
Sure. Puerto Rican Paul brothers might live out there. But other than that, this Mike Tyson fight, as you guys know, I'm an owner of Happy Punch. I do all the Misfits boxing influencer fights as well. So I was part of the first ever Jake Paul, Logan Paul, KSI, Deji, FaZe Clan fight in 2018 where the influencer boxing first got a rise. I helped organize some of those fights, and I also fought on the card. So I've been around this forever. And to see where it came from, to Jake fighting Mike is like such a tremendous thing. Like my little brother's 16. I'm probably gonna go on a tangent here and say some scribbles out of my mind, but my little brother's 16. I always did jiu-jitsu, MMA. He always liked that. And now with the rise of this influencer boxing, my little brother does boxing now specifically because of guys like Jake Paul and the influencer boxers. Mike Tyson himself came out and said that boxing is on the rise. This was a few years ago. He said boxing was dead, and now it's on the rise because of YouTuber boxers like myself, like Jake, like Logan. And now, a few years fast forward, he's fighting Jake Paul. I think it's going to be arguably right now, I'm arguing for the fact that it's going to be the biggest fight of all time, I think. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, I believe, breaks...
Fight or boxing event?
Fighting or boxing? I think, does boxing reach more people, I believe, still to this point?
Really?
Yeah.
I do think that it is the biggest fighting event of all time. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul is going to be, because it crosses so many generations. My dad's 62 years old, and he wants to watch this. My little brother's 16, and he wants to watch this. Name another fighter or fight card where you got people who are like 13 to 75 who want to see the fight. I don't know.
It doesn't
doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even my dad, a retired cop from New York City, who yells at the Fox News TV till he wants to have a stroke every night.
Of course.
He is going to probably watch this fight.
Oh, of course. And on Netflix is readily available in all major homes, over 250 million homes across the planet. I don't know if that's true, Netflix, sorry. But, anybody can watch this, So I think, and for free, this is unheard of. Biggest fight of all time. I can't think of one that is bigger, How do you feel about the fight, though?
I was going to ask you that.
Oh, and we're going to go do this. I'm actually going to tell you off camera because I don't trust you guys on the camera, all these cameras. I got an idea for content that me and you are going to go do, actually. Easily 40 million views.
Pants
Probably.
on or off?
I'm going shorts. Maybe boxing shorts. Oh, yeah, this is good, actually.
Okay.
This is good. I'm brainstorming right now as we do it. This is good.
You guys will find out in the future.
Yeah.
So take your friend cap off. Take off Happy Punch Miller, all that. Put that all away. Just you, fight game. Is this going to be a real fight? And how do you think it's going to go?
Oh, it's a real fight. All these influencers, it's so funny.
And I know that it's going to, I'm not trying to be controversial.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot. Like, look at Anderson Silva just fought Chael Sonnen, and they talked so much crap. They went in there and threw pillows at each other. No offense. Don't choke me out when I see you guys. But I was excited to see where these two former rivals would meet at 46 years old, 44 years old. I don't want to see, and I guess I'm speaking for the fans because I see a lot of the comments. I don't want to see the build up to this Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight, and then they get in there and they're sparring.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening. Jake Paul is a tank. He's massive, and Mike Tyson's got his legacy on the line, so he can't. I don't know. What do you think?
So I think a couple of things. I think that the YouTuber influencer boxing world sometimes gets a rap for people thinking like, oh, are these fake fights? Is Jake Paul's stuff fake or whatever? I can personally say that none of the fights have been fixed or fake. Obviously, I've been involved in them. Obviously, I've fought on them. Nothing fixed or faked. And I also was just in Puerto Rico.
I
so
say fake, not because of the influencer bot. I say because of Tyson's side. Because when he fought against Roy Jones Jr., I was very disappointed. We had a big party at my buddy Mario's house. Shout out to Mario. There's a bunch of people watching his huge flat screen. And I was like, what is this? So when I say fake, it's coming from, is Mike Tyson going to tell the young bull, you can't swing? That's what I mean. So no disrespect to any of the influencers. I know you guys are going out there, but I don't know if the 59-year-old is going to allow it.
I do think a couple things. I do think Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen was a friendly sparring match. Obviously, billed as something other than what it was, right? It became a friendly sparring match. It was, whatever. And I do think those guys are older, whatever, do that. And Chael Sonnen, obviously, if he's not a striker. I think if it was an MMA fight, it would be different.
Yeah, but tell us. Like, we're the fans.
Come on, yeah.
I get excited. I got a pregnant wife and a 20-month-old.
Yeah.
I don't get a lot of good times right now. It's all about being a dad. So when I think that Chael Sonnen's going to fight Anderson Silva, and I take the time out of my day, and they're throwing pillows at each other, I get a little bit disappointed. All right, I'm done.
No, I'm on the same team with that. I do think that is much different than the Mike Tyson fight, Jones Jr. fight from 2020. I think that one was actually more exciting. I do know that there were some interesting rule sets around that, but that was a different scenario in my opinion. This right here, the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson thing, I already know that Jake Paul is going to want to he's going to want to knock him out. I think it's a tough spot because if he knocks him out, everybody is like mad at him. If he doesn't knock him out, everybody is mad at him for not being good enough to knock out Mike Tyson. And I do think that Mike Tyson, although nice and enlightened in his older age, is still Mike Tyson. And you're going to get, as the fight draws closer, I imagine you're going to find an older alpha male kind of almost cornered to some degree by a younger guy. And that Iron Mike is definitely going to be in the ring for at least 6 minutes. I don't care that he's 58 years old. I don't care that Jake's, much younger, been training consistently, been having fights. Those old guys, the toughest guys that I train with, believe it or not, is not necessarily the younger. I train with a ton of like UFC fighters, MMA guys, jiu-jitsu black belts, some of the top guys in the world in jiu-jitsu. I'm not necessarily good, but these guys all are, And the toughest guys that I train with is the old, like 55-year-old, 60-year-old black belt that's like, oh, I can't lose to you, buddy. Like those guys are the toughest guys in the world. Granted, do I beat them after a roll? Sure, but it takes time. I think that Mike Tyson goes into the ring, and for that first 2-3 rounds, that first like 6 minutes, he's not Mike Tyson right now that you guys all see on the podcast. He's going to be Iron Mike for 6 minutes, and if Jake is not careful, he's going to get his head punched into the stadium, bro, 100%.
Do you know the dynamics? Do we know? Is it 16-ounce gloves, 2-minute, 8 2-minute rounds? Is it 14 or 12?
So obviously there was a lot of talk around that, and a lot of things changed. I believe that the last that I heard was it's going to be. I believe that it was 12-ounce gloves.
I think Scott's checking it out.
Yeah, I believe it was 8 rounds, 2 minutes, 12-ounce gloves. I believe
that plays a big difference for sure.
It's not going to be a 16-ounce, 1 minute, 4-round situation. It's going to be 2 minutes. I believe 8 rounds and like 12-ounce gloves.
Yeah.
But we'll get an update on that. What do you...
I see it says sanctioned pro bout, 2-minute rounds, 14-ounce gloves.
14
Knockouts allowed. Outcome will count towards the records.
All right, 14-ounce gloves, 2-minute rounds. Okay, cool. I'm excited.
So yeah, 14 ounces, as you know, is like in between a training glove and a professional size. So 14 ounce, you still get knocked out with that. 14 ounce, it gives you a little leeway. I think that they're working on making it even lighter, but we'll see as we draw closer to the event. But I know that both guys obviously want to come out there and win. It's not going to be the Anderson Silva Chael Sonnen fight necessarily. And with that being said, how do you feel about the fight? Do you think that Jake wins? Do you think that
I think Jake's gonna win.
You think Jake's gonna win, but how? Do you think that he has to do the thing where he avoids the first
No,
6 minutes of Mike? Do you
and
think
no-
he can win? Like,
Look, Dana's gonna kill me if he sees this. Dana, I love you. 'Cause, I mean, he's got Mike Tyson all around the UFC headquarters. I just think Jake's gonna be too quick at this point. No disrespect to Tyson, but like 30 years ago, my dad petrified me. I could probably beat the shit out of my dad now. You know,
my
there was
dad,
no chance in hell 30 years ago. Your dad's different.
my dad beats me up on 5 times a week and
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu on a regular basis.
Well, granted, my dad is still a. I mean, his fist. He worked in the subway. He's got a good 3-4 minutes, but after that, I just don't see Jake. I don't see Jake Paul getting in there and allowing Mike Tyson to do what he does, because he's going to have to close the distance. He's going to have to get into the phone booth, and he's going to come and do what he's always done and try to take his head off. I think Jake Paul is smart enough with the way he always keeps his left. He's always got his distance. I don't know. I think Jake's gonna knock him out in the third.
In the third. Okay, so I think that Mike Tyson even said this. He's like, the only chance you have is to get on your bike and like run away from me, right away from me for that first, 6 rounds until I get tired or whatever.
They know that.
And so Mike Tyson had said that to Jake, and Jake said, "No, I'll fight you from the first round. It's fine. I'll get in there and fight." And I honestly think if he takes that strategy and he wants to get the pride ego thing in there where he's like, "No, I'll fight you from round 1." That's super dangerous because that's still
Yeah, if he gets in there and does the Max Holloway and Jake Paul points to the ground and tries to stand with Tyson in the beginning 2 rounds, there's a problem. But if he keeps his distance, the same way Conor ran away from Nate Diaz in a couple of the fights and tries to tire him out, by the 4th, 5th, or 6th, he could win by decision. Or but Jake has got. I don't care. Take the name Jake Paul out of it. Let's get any dude off the strip where we interview or anybody. If you are a 220-pound guy who's been training how to punch, you could knock somebody out. I mean, we're not. And who knows what Tyson? Nobody knows if he's like had any neurological damage from all the fights in his past. Nobody's ever really asked about. Well, granted, he did take some damage, but no one knows. In the last 30 years since he retired, or 2004 since he retired, how much damage Mike Tyson really took. If his TV has TBI real bad, or migraines, and if he's going to go in there and get hit, and we don't know because nobody asked him. Have you seen anyone ask him?
No, but I would imagine that we all have damages from that.
Yeah, but everyone's like walking.
But he's been recovering for 20 years. He's fine now.
Yeah.
He's going to get in the ring with Jake, a perfectly healthy individual. So. I don't know. Either way, I'm excited for the fight. Mike Tyson wins via knockout in the first 3 rounds, or Jake Paul wins via knockout in the last few rounds. That's my opinion.
Yeah, same. All right, guys. Thank you for stopping by. We're going to try to get a lot of content out to you guys on MMAWeekly.com. Make sure you guys are going and checking out the website, the YouTube. We're going to have TikTok, X, Twitter, all of that stuff. And I'm excited. So, all right, guys.
I'm excited, too. Looking forward to doing these. Once a week, guys, and if you guys love it, we're going to do up to 40 times a week. That's a promise from me. Follow us.
MMA Weekly, baby. Let's go.